Hello everybody. Welcome to my podcast. I'm vimogam, your host. Wait, no, not vimogam. Um, Something like Frobie 250, 200. I'm the Vim, and we today we got our guest, Funijoke. Say hi, Funijoke. Or hi, it's me, Funijoke. Oh, yeah, so funny. Um, and we have our other guest, Adam. Hey guys, it's me, Adam. I like Sonic and Cattywampus is Cattywampi. Is that how you say it? What are you talking about, Adam? Like, can you genuinely shut up? No one likes you. Oh, geez, man, I guess I'm just gonna leave this recording. Okay, sure, Adam, whatever you want. Anyways, you two know what we're talking about today. Uh, I left the recording. It's me, Adam. Actually, it's me, Lucas. Uh, Funny joke. Uh, um, are we talking about Grounded? I know how much you like Grounded, Vimogam Preston, Frobie200. No, no. Why would I ever talk about Grounded? Grounded, the survival-based bug game made by Obsidian Entertainment. Why would I ever talk about the masterpiece that is Grounded? And how much I love the the guy Peter Boggs from Grounded, and how fun it is to fight wolf spiders day and night to keep them from invading your bases, or just how good. Um, you're talking a lot about Grounded there for someone who's not. Shut up, Lucas. I will jam. Funny. I will jam a crowbar into your head right now, actively. Please, please, I'm talking about Grounded. You can't stop me when I'm talking about Grounded. You too, Adam. Yeah, I'm Adam. Sonic. Uh, uh, Team Fortress. Yes, Adam, that's nice of you. Anyways, where was I? Right. So, not talking about the best game made probably ever in human creation, Grounded. We will talk about my personal favorite game, Baldur's Gate 3. Now, some people have played it. Please comment, like, and subscribe if you haven't played it, and because I will spoil the entire story for you right here, right now. Hey, guys, if you don't want to do this, you should skip. No, I'm doing it right now. Don't listen to Adam. Don't skip anything. I'm spoiling the entire game right here, right now. So it all starts out in this um what's a tavern called again? Tavern? Yeah. It's this tavern named Taco Spell, right? It's run by Sean Trevant, who you may or may not know is the head CEO of Taco Bell. And basically, he got isekai'd into the world or like Faerun, right? And so basically, that's he's running a tavern named Taco Spell, and he ends up meeting some people. Their names are Kane, Skrunk, and Corvus. Skrunk is like a little scrunky guy. Hey, he's not that scrunky. Adam, he is scrunky. Please, once again, shut up. And anyways, Kane is like a witch or something. I don't know. We'll get it more into Kane later. And then Corvus is like a crow guy, ranger. Oh, and there's someone else. What's his name? Azor. Yes, Azir. Azir. So all five of them they meet up, and Chandravant he's like, "Ah man, I sure do wish I had some taco peppers." And then they're all like, "Ah man, Chandravant, we love taco peppers. We can go get some to you because we are very helpful and we like being your friend." Um, and then so they go on an adventure, and they meet a bunch of cool, interesting people. Azur, of course, says all of his one-liners. He's like, "Oh boy, back in my day, Azur's like an old guy, by the way. Back in my day, we didn't used to have taco peppers." And then everyone's like, "Ha ha ha, Azur, you're so funny. We love you and cherish you." Anyways, so they get the taco peppers, and then they're like, "All right, we can go now." And then they go back to Taco Spell, and Jean Chavant, of course, cooks up his very cool pepper tacos. Anyways, are you guys taking notes? There is a quiz on this at the end of this video. That I'm talking to you, the viewers, not you, Adam. No one's talking to you, Adam. Then why did I get invited on this podcast if I'm not gonna shut up, Adam? For the love of God, I'm going to stab you in the head with a knife. Anyways, so where was I? I think you were about to explain, erm, what was happening in Baldur's Gate. Right. Anyways, so they go to Baldur's Gate and they go, "Hey, do you guys like taco peppers?" And they're like, "Bro, what is a taco pepper?" The people of Baldur's Gate. And then Azur steps up. He's like, "Now, back in my day, we didn't have taco peppers." Everyone laughs. Everyone. So you see, here, let me give you some backstory on Azur. Now that we really brought him into the spotlight. So Azur is, well, was a basically noble warrior who was fighting on the side of, um, sorry, I'm blanking on his name. What was his name again? I think it was, Hemotep. No, that sounds stupid, Adam. Can you please shut up? Anyways, so he was fighting on the side of Hemotep, uh, and on the war against, or on the war for Fandalavir, and Azur actually was a like level 20 fighter, like super strong, and then he got shot in the neck and died, and then he got brought back to life because he had a cleric, but the cleric cast the wrong spell. He cast reincarnate instead of resurrection. So what ended up happening was Azur, who was a dragonborn, got turned into like a funny little old guy. He's like a 2 feet tall. And he's like 200 years old. Um, and so he's just like is an old guy now, and it's really funny. Um, and he also sucks at fighting because he's like an old guy. Anyways, so Azur, he goes, "Now back in my day, we didn't have any taco peppers." Everyone laughs, including Azur, which is weird because that's his own joke. Like, why would you laugh at your own joke, right? Hey, it's me, Adam. You just did that. Adam, I swear to God, if you interrupt my story one more time, one more time, you're not going to have a story you're not going to be able to hear any other stories ever in your entire existence. So, Adam, please be quiet. So, anyways, so Zur, he's like, so we're gonna go and we're gonna sell you our peppers. And even though you've never heard of the peppers, I've heard of the peppers now that I've eaten one, and they're pretty good. And he rolled, and then of course this is where you would roll like a persuasion check, and Azur rolled a nat one. And so the townsfolk were like, "Bro, who is this random old guy?" So then they get kicked out of town because they hate old people, obviously. This is a game, by the way. This is like a video game. You can buy it on Steam. It might be on sale right now. So, um, what's his name? Skrunk, I think. Skrunk. He's a warlock of Eas, the god, the demigod of like deceit and evil. And he's like, "Hey, Eas, help a homie out. We want to sell all these peppers, but like no one wants to buy our peppers." And then Eas is like, "Hey, if you do all these evil things for me, I'll grant you a wish that'll make your peppers sell like fire." And of course everyone's like, "Man, we love a wish spell for peppers to be sold. And also we are very evil." Except Corvus, who's like, and I guess Sean Chavon as well, who are like, I mean, yeah, I guess I'd like to sell the peppers. So what do? They break into Mechanus. That's the first part of this quest. They go to Mechanus via a portal in Waterdeep. Well, I guess I might as well say what happens in Waterdeep. So in Waterdeep, they meet up with this Time Dragon, and Time Dragon goes, "Hey, you want this pet apple?" And it's like just a little apple who like walks around and he's like, "Hey guys, it's me, the apple. I am actually a god in disguise, and I want to devour the world," or whatever. Just says silly stuff like that. So they go, "No thanks, we don't like apples." So they take an orange instead. And with this orange doesn't talk. It's just like a normal orange, but it's very important later. So like, hang on to that thought. They take the orange and they end up finding a portal. Well, they end up meeting a kid and they go, "Hey kid, what's your story?" And the kid like helps them into the Thieves Guild. And inside the Thieves Guild, they actually, well, one, they're like, "Okay, kid, you're pretty cool, so you can come with us." And two, they end up finding like a bootleg portal into Mechanus, which of course is where they want to go. So they go to Mechanus and they kind of just rob like the main tourist center there, because of course they have like a tourist center there. Obviously, it's like a oh no, it's not Mechanus. It was Automata, the gate town of Mechanus in the Outlands. So they go to Automata, and it's like a touristy place. They have the train there and everything. So like, it's kind of like a little attraction. So they go into the main entry hall, and they convince the robot to leave, and then they just kind of like steal all of the stickers. And this is lore important later, so I'll get into that later. Uh, Lucas hasn't talked in a while. Yeah, he's just sleeping, right, Lucas? Yeah, Lucas, so funny, so true. Anyways, um, so they, sorry, I lost my train of thought. They go into the train, the Concordant Express, and they're like, "Okay, we need to find this one guy on the train." Kane goes invisible. Corvus and Scrum, or no, Corvus and Sean Trevant get really drunk because they just don't care, I guess, about the quest. As a reminder, those are like the two good people. So like they're doing a ton of evil, they don't really feel like it, so they just get drunk. Skrunk solves world hunger, and Azur does like 15 backflips, and says like some one-liners like, "Huh, don't want to miss your train." I don't know what he was saying, honestly. And then he was like, "Back in my day, we didn't have trains." Um, so Kane ends up, of course, finding the main quest thing because it's Kane. And Kane goes like, "Okay, that's nice." And the guy's like, "Hey, you want to help me out here and do this main quest?" But they end up just not doing that. Instead, Kane just kind of kills the guy and then like steals all of his stuff and gets away with it, of course, because it's Kane. He literally ends up changing his eye. They're like he literally takes his eyes out and like changes them. Kane is a girl. Why am I saying Kane's a guy? Right, the transgender arc. We don't. We'll get into that later. So yeah. So I'll get into that later. But there's the whole changing eyes part that happens. Um. Anyways, so then they all meet up and they're like, "Hey, I got all the stuff." And Skrunk's like, "You will no longer feel hunger because I, with all of my mathematical genius, have literally solved universal peace." And then solves a counterexample to cause more war. And I was like, "Good job, Skrunk. We love you." And Skrunk gets like a million gold and like all the love in the world. Um, Azur once again goes like, "Wow, looks like really dodged that bullet," which doesn't even make sense. No one shot a bullet or like had a gun at all. What is bro talking about? Um, Sean and Corvus are passed out drunk, and there's also an orange there. It doesn't do anything because it is just a normal orange. It is not magical in any way. We'll get into that later though. Um, so they end up getting off at Zeos because someone finds the body, and you know, Kane goes like, "Whoopsie daisy, I've been a little silly guy, a little silly girl. I'm just I'm just silly." So Kane has to leave the train, and then they all leave with Kane. Anyways, they're kind of stupid or something. But like they end up figuring out they have to go to Revel Home, which is coincidentally also in um the Outlands. So they decide they're gonna walk from there. Well, not as much walk. They're in Zeos. Zeos doesn't have gravity, so they right now they're kind of floating, but they float like up to a giant cube, and then they go in the cube, and um they go, "Ah, boy, this is a crazy cube." Um, a couple of them die, a couple of them don't die. Potato, potato. The orange ends up coming out of their like rolling out of the inventory, and you'll never guess what happens. The orange begins to roll because it's like a sphere. It begins to roll and it stops rolling. Anyway, so they pick back up the orange. We'll get into that later. Um, and they all make it safe and sound to the boss chamber, where they find out that the cube is actually being controlled by a giant plant guy. The plant guy's like, "I'm evil in a giant cube, and I'm a plant." And they're like, "Oh no, the plant guy is in the cube and is evil." And there's a robot like, "My name is Pluie, and I am a good guy, and I'm afraid of the plant guy, and he's gonna kill me." I'm like, "No, we gotta save Pluie." And the kid, he goes like, "I'm afraid of the plant guy. I'm gonna go hide in the corner with Pluie." The kid doesn't have a name. I think his name's like Oliver. Um, the orange. They also send the orange with it. We'll get into that later though. Azur goes like, "Huh. Looks like someone's been out to grow for a bit." Like two people laugh. The orange maybe makes a noise, but that doesn't make sense because it's a normal orange. So we'll get into that later. Um, And Kane goes, "I'm the nice one and I don't like killing people anymore." So Kane kills the plant, like with one, like just fireball. Boom, right in the center, dies instantly. Kane's a witch, by the way. Whoa. That comes up later. So I'll explain it when we get there. So anyways, potato, potato, they get a scroll of planar shift. which is like pretty cool. Yeah, it, I mean, you're in a different plane of existence. It's pretty nice to have a scroll of planar shift, handy. They go, frick you, Pluie. We hate you, and they leave Pluie there to die of boredom because it's just a giant cube, and now there's no plant guy either to make things interesting. Pluie's just there alone. Um, I might as well explain Pluie's backstory. Pluie is an auto gnome who was confused as a Modron and enlisted as into their army. Um, Very sad stuff. Uh, because he wasn't used to the like clockwork type of working that the Modrons do, he kept getting like abused by the like drones and stuff, and that's why he was basically sent on a suicide mission into the cube. Anyways, they didn't know any of that. They like no one knows any of that because they just hate Pluie so much. They just want to kill him. This was before Deltarune Chapter 4, by the way. Um, they grab the orange, normal orange. We'll get into it later. But the kid, he goes, I think it's kind of mean what you're doing to Pluie. So you should stop doing that. And they go, you know what, you're right, kid. I'm so glad we brought you along. But we're not bringing Pluie along anyways. And the kid goes, all right, I understand. We'll get into his backstory later. He has a big backstory, trust me. Azur goes, well, that'll add some heat to the candle. Doesn't make any sense. Pluie laughs, um, which is like a plus for Pluie. But if you knew his backstory, you would know that Pluie's like kind of weird mental state right now. So he probably just like laughed out of nervousness or something because it really wasn't that good of a joke. Um, Corvus is who has been with them the whole time. He's just really like out of it right now. Says, "Hey, I'm Corvus." Everyone agrees with him, so they go to um oh, what was that place called? Why don't you know this? Aren't you like the storyteller here? Shut up, Adam. My God, do you want to be like Lucas right now? What do you mean by that? Do you see him? No, we're in a call together though. Like I can see his. Well, you notice how he's been talking? Why don't you follow his example? Um, so they go to Moradin's Anvil, which has the really funny naming scheme because Moradin has not only not been to Moradin's Anvil, but was not founded by Moradin, nor is it anywhere near his domain, in which Moradin's domain is actually on Mount Celestia. So they go to Moradin's Anvil, and they meet all the gnomes. It was called Dwarvish Mountain, by the way. Anyways, they go there. They meet a gnome, or not a gnome, a dwarf, and they go in. Um, and Skrunk ends up talking to this guy for like a straight 2 hours. It's like an unskippable cutscene because, as a reminder, this is a game. Um, and Skrunk talks to this guy, and they're both like talking like, "Hey, what did you do for dinner?" "Oh, I had pizza and lasagna." "That's weird. That doesn't exist yet because this is like a D&D world." "Okay." And they talk about that like on and on for like 2 straight hours. Honestly, really low point in the game. But anyways, Corvus, he says, "Hey, I'm Corvus." Everyone agrees with that. So what do they end up doing? Sean ends up finding a GameStop, which doesn't make sense really. But it's just a place where they sell a bunch of rocks because they're dwarves and they like rocks. And they end up killing the owner and then sleeping inside the GameStop. This was Kane. Kane is the evil one, by the way. Um, and so then they go, you know what? I know we have this really cool quest and we want to sell our peppers, but like, what if we did? a puzzle. So then they spend like a couple days doing a puzzle, only to find out that like the puzzle didn't really give much for them. So then they just leave. Um, uh, they Oh yeah, Sean Trevant gets teleported to Revel Home though via a funny little spell and gets ends up getting replaced by Bark the Bark, who hates Sean Trevant with a passion. And so what does Kane do? Kane is evil. So Kane wants to kill Bark the Bark, but actually doesn't yet. Because Kane wants to do more than just kill Bark the Bark, but actually steal his soul. So she sets up a idea to basically kill people and make Bark the Bark stronger so that the soul will be better when she steals it. Anyways, enough about Kane. The orange is still there. We'll get into that later. Um, so they both, so they all start heading up to Revel Home. Sean Trevant is heading back from Rebel Home after he just got a girlfriend, which is a Medusa. Um, we'll get into that later. Anyways, they meet up at Realm of the Norns, where Bark the Bark ends up challenging Sean Trevant to a duel. Sean Trevant gets absolutely whooped until Kane, the evil one, breaks the rules of the duel and kills Bark the Bark and steals his soul. Because of course, Kane is the evil one. Corvus says something along the lines of like, "Hey guys, I'm Corvus." Most people agree with that. The orange possibly gives him a look, but once again, we'll get into that later. Um, they go up to Ecstasy, which is where Revel Home is, and they meet up with the Medusa, and she's like, "Hey, hey, cutie, you're so cute. I love you." To Sean Trevant, and then they both like make out ferociously for like 2 hours straight, and then she's like, "Okay, well, I have to go do something," and then she dies in like the most brutal way, and Sean Trevant's like, "Oh no," but whatever. They kill the guy who killed her, easy solve, and leave. Kane's like, "I'm the evil one." Corvus agrees. Um, so what ends up happening is, okay, I'm trying to think of how to explain this. So basically, they find a letter that's like, "Hey, come to my house," and then the exact address of the house, and they're like, "Okay, we'll just go to this guy's house." So they do that. Um, and that guy ends up living on Mount Celestia. On Mount Celestia, they end up meeting this halfling named uh, um, A- Aku Risotto, who's like, "I hate the color orange," which is why he's very actually happy about himself because his hair color is red and his name means like red. So he's actually kind of happy. Like, he's like half happy because he's like, orange is half red, but like at least I'm not fully red, you know? Or at least I'm not orange. I'm red, but half of orange is red. But he hates the orange. And like you can sense some dislike from the orange, but also you can't because the orange isn't magical. Either way, uh Kane's like, "I'm the evil one." And isn't allowed to progress up Mount Celestia. Skrunk, who at this point now has two daughters, both adopted, is like, "I love my daughters," and it ends up being accepted up Mount Celestia. Corvus is Corvus. Uh, You agree? Anyways, this is the halfway point, right? Can I get like a make sure to comment, like, and subscribe if you made it this far? I know I haven't. Um, if you haven't made it this far and you're still confused, um, well, it's like a recording, so you can just like kind of go back and figure it out. Otherwise, we'll get to that later. So, they all go up Mount Celestia except for Cain, who's like, I'm the evil one. But then Cain goes up Mount Celestia because, like, she's so evil that she just can't do it. So they go up to Mount Celestia and they end up meeting with Cain's grandpa, who's like, I'm the evil one. And Cain goes, no, that's me. And they have a little spout. They go, yeah, well, I'm the evil one. No, I'm the evil one. And Corvus steps in and he goes, I'm Corvus. Everyone agrees except the orange. We'll get into that why later. But um, they end up meeting this guy who looks just like Albert Einstein. And that guy goes like, to be or not to be, that is the question. Do you really want to sell your peppers? I can buy your peppers at half price right now instead of you doing all this quest to find someone to sell your peppers to. And they're like, no, but like, if we can just sell our peppers at full price, that's a lot more money. As a reminder, this whole quest is just to sell peppers. So they end up, but then Kane's like, you know what? That is like good money though. We can just cash out right now, and I don't have to do any of this work. So Kane basically ends up like taking them on like a catawampus where Kane fights them. Kane, of course, loses because she's the evil one, not the strong one. Akka, probably says something racist, and Skrunk, is like, I am Skrunk, and I am the evil one now, but I have two daughters, so I'm not that evil. Um, what was his name? Azur? He hasn't spoken recently, but that's just because he's been busy. His grandkids were visiting. So he ends up saying a one-liner like, I'll E equals MC his squared. Like, some people laugh, but it's obvious, like, he lost his stride, like, halfway into this joke. But the kid, he goes, alright, I'm done not locking in, and end up becoming a beholder named, you won't believe this, Xanathar, which is crazy because that's like a guy we know. Um, so they and then he just kills the Albert Einstein looking guy. Azur says something like, I have a funny joke to say here. Actually, this gets like everyone laughing. Um, Kane gets pushed into the abyss. And then they go, well, I guess we also have to go into the abyss anyways. So then they all go into the abyss. Um, where they end up meeting this new person whose name is Sheer. Sheer looks exactly like Kane, but Sheer has this catchphrase, I'm the like I'm the stupid one. That's what it was. If you're wondering about the pause, by the way, that was me. I just kind of forgot what Shear's catchphrase is. It was I'm the stupid one, which is not the I'm the evil one, so it can't be Kane. Anyways, Shear, not stupid, is not really that stupid, more just like innocent or whatever. So Shear just guides them throughout the abyss, where they end up meeting with this guy who looks really shockingly like it looks like an orange with legs. And this is where I said we'd get back to it. The guy with orange for legs, he goes, "Hey, have any of you seen an orange?" And they're like, "Yeah, it's like a common thing to find." And that's right. You I mean, it's not that hard to find an orange, you know? But what ends up happening is that guy takes the orange and goes, "This is it. This is the orange I was looking for." And he eats it. Uh, and that's how the orange dies. There's a lot of death in this story, by the way. So like trigger warning. Um, actually no, that's it. It was just the orange. Um, so now that they're down a party member of that being the orange, which was not magical whatsoever, uh, they go to this the head of Abyss, which is Demogorgon, and they go, "Hey, aren't you the guy from Stranger Things?" And he's like, "Oh, I'm so tired of that reputation. That guy has nothing on me." And then they think about it, and they're like, "Yeah, you know what? You're right. He really is nothing like you." And then they both like dap each other up. Corvus is there. He says something like, "I'm Corvus." Sean Trevant agrees with that. Uh, Skrunk doesn't, but that's because he's feeding his daughters at that point. So he's kind of busy. He does breastfeeding, by the way. He says it's better for their nutritional health. Make sure to like and comment, by the way, if you made it this far. Anyways, the Azur goes, "Wait, I remember you." And Demogorgon's like, "Bro, you're like an old guy. How do you remember anything?" But Azur's like, "No, no, I distinctly remember you, specifically." And so you'll never guess what happens next. You'll never see this coming, but Azur literally one-shots Demogorgon. He just kills him right then and there. And everyone's shocked. They're like, "What? Azur can do that?" And yes, he could, in fact, do that the entire time. He was just, he just had the orange basically powering him down. Because Azur is actually allergic to oranges. That's what the big twist was. Speaking of twist, have any of you two played um what is that game called? Uh Fallout New Vegas. I haven't talked in like a while. Can I Adam, 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 shut up. Adam, shut up. Adam, shut up. Oh, okay. Alright, good. Now that he's not talking, I really enjoy that game. Anyways, I'm not finishing Baldur's Gate 3. That I didn't make it actually. I didn't finish it. So,
I'm not gonna finish telling you about that. What else do we have to talk about? Um, well, my name is vimogam. Let's talk about something I like. So, Persona 2 is actually a really good game. Innocent Sin. I haven't played Eternal Punishment, but Innocent Sin is such a good game. Like, talk about a Persona game, you know? Basically. So, it um, so when you start it, you're like, all right, it's a Persona game. I don't know what to expect here. But then what happens? This guy, Joker, shows up and he's like, hey, I'm Joker from Persona. And you'd think I'm joking, but no, that's actually his name. And he's like, yo, what's up, everybody? And he ends up like, basically, that's it. He just says that. And guess what? No one cares because everyone loves him. So, he ends up joining the party, and then Führer shows up, and he goes, I can't do a German accent really, but he's in a German accent, and he goes, "Hello, everybody, it's me, Führer. Wahoo!" And this is actually an allegory because like all the characters have like some sort of problem with their fathers or whatever. Like Lisa's mad at her dad because he brought her to Japan and she didn't want to leave America. And then like Tatsuya, I think his dad died. Maya's dad also probably died or something. Uh, Joker's dad killed himself. Stuff like that. Um, but basically they just kind of chill out for a bit. Honestly, they just go like, "All right, what are we doing here?" And that's basically what happens in Persona 2. But like, I'm paraphrasing a lot, you know. I didn't even get into the whole gambling arc or any of that. Why don't I let Adam talk for a bit? Really? Yeah, Adam, you've been quiet like this whole time. Why haven't you been talking? Because you keep. No, Adam, please, please, just go ahead and talk. What do you want to talk about? We could talk about Sonic. That's great. I'd love to hear about Sonic. So, like, what's the story of Sonic? So there's this hedgehog. His name is. Is it Sonic? Yes, yeah, it's Sonic. Okay, okay, and what else? Well, he said it's like he likes chili dogs. Um, and he's fast. Oh, really? Yeah, yeah, he's fast. He has a bunch of friends like Tails and Knuckles, and they're going on a search for these emeralds, like the villagers from Minecraft. But these are like evil emeralds. And Shadow shows up, and he's like an evil Sonic, and he's like, "I'm evil and not Sonic." Anyway, so he's pretty evil. Uh, and he enlists the help of Rogue the Bat, and he's like, "Rogue the Bat, I need your help to be evil." And everyone's like, "Oh my God, it's Rogue the Bat." Except Sonic, he's like, "Oh boy, I sure could use a chili dog." Oh, but yeah, so that's about what happens in Sonic, honestly. But Sonic 2 is where it gets really crazy. So in Sonic 2, do you know who Eggman is? No, I've never played Sonic. Well, so Eggman. is just like this funny little guy who eats eggs all day. And he ends up stealing Sonic's girlfriend, Amy. And Sonic's like, oh no, my girlfriend, Amy. So what does he do? He ends up literally like meeting up with Eggman's wife and just saying the most profane stuff to her, right? He's like, "Oh, I hate you. Your your husband is horrible and ugly, and I don't like him. My name is Sonic from Smash Brothers Ultimate." He says it in a deep voice so that Eggman doesn't know it's him. uh, and then that's and then it ends with a big boss fight between the two, and that's pretty cool. It I really think that Sega cooked with that one, that title. Oh, it was made by Sega? Yeah, it was made by Sega. That's pretty cool. Anything else to share, Adam? Yeah, there's this one game where Sonic gets killed on a train, and it's named like Who Killed Sonic the Hedgehog. Very scary game. It's a horror game if you'd believe it. I wouldn't believe it. Please do go on, Adam. Well, basically, they're on a train, and then Sonic ends up dead, and Tails is like, "Oh no, Sonic is dead." And then Sonic goes, "Yes, I died. Where's my? I don't have any chili dogs, and I'm dead," which sucks so much. But like, what are you gonna do, you know? So you, the player, end up going through like a whole cat of one eye to figure out who killed Sonic. And it ends up being, if you'd believe it, Rogue the Bat, which is crazy. Rogue the Bat's my favorite character and all. So it was crazy when I learned that. Uh, Sorry for any spoilers, but I'm Adam. Yes, you are Adam. Now, if you please, I would love to talk about Octopath Traveler, but I'm not gonna do that. I think we should all sit down and talk about life itself. You know, sometimes you're just living life, and then the worst thing in the world happens to you. And all you can think is, why? Why does this happen to me? But the thing is, how I like to think of it is, why is it happening to you? Is it because you're hungry? Or is it more a spiritual thing? You know, there's not a lot you can do against like all these horrible things, but you always have people by your side to help you out if you really need it. And that is just a nice little fun part of life is your friends and your family who you can hold and will support you. But I mean, if you will always have someone who will help you. And if you don't, then you're just not thinking hard enough because I don't know what I'm saying, but I like to hope it's inspirational to somebody or nobody or everybody. I genuinely don't know what I'm saying. I have been talking for 50 minutes, and if you made it this far, you really should like and subscribe, because this will probably never happen again, and I really hope it doesn't. Anyways, on to the rest of the video, because I still have 30 minutes left, or not 30 minutes, 10 minutes left of this video. And this video is sponsored by me, Frobie200. I make horrible songs, but they're kind of good. You know, it's like I don't know. They're good and all, but like I feel like they could be better. So if you want to watch me get better at making music, then make sure to like and subscribe to me, Frobie200. That's r slash or that's you www.youtube.com/Funijoke for more Deltarune videos every week. That's right. I Funijoke post Deltarune videos every single week. And if I don't, then you can legally harass me in the comment section if Funijoke doesn't post any Deltarune videos in 1 week. Like if in one of the weeks I Funijoke don't post any Deltarune videos, you can go into my comment section and actually harass me about this. Like yell at me and stuff like that. Because I love my fans and I know what my fans want. And also me. I am vimogam as well. Vimogam Unplugged. You're watching it right now. I know how much my fans loved my planet video. So I think that we should make a new planet video right here, right now, in 8 minutes. Humana humana. I sure do love the planet videos. They're literally my favorite bits. So humna humna, we are going to um talk about it. I'm gonna play Earth, and we'll have you. You're gonna play Venus. All right, ready? We're gonna do this like a fun little interaction between Earth and Venus. And then of course I'm Vimogam. Uh, hey, welcome to the Vimogam Unplugged Podcast. 7 minute short episode. Today we have Earth. You want to introduce yourself? Yeah, I'm Earth. I'm the Earth expert, Frobie200. I My planet has a lot of vodka, and we trade with Mars for water. And and the sun is my father, and I love him so much. And that's my sister. She's kind of shy. You want to introduce yourself, sis? Like, hey, I'm Venus, and like, I'm like crack cocaine, like all day, like every day, and I like hate you so much. Like, I'm way better than you. Huh, silly sis. You're not that much better than me. Yes, like I am. I am like better than you all the time. And why don't you like shut up, you little baby? Because like no, sister, you don't, surely, sister, you don't mean this. Like, I do mean this, honestly. And like, if I could get some crack cocaine right now, it would be way better. Anyways, um, before you two like start fighting, what would you like to discuss? Or no, I'm Vimogam. I get to decide what you're talking about, because I'm the homeless one. Um, what are your planets like? Oh, well, at Earth, this is a new law recently actually made. There's now a 1 hour time frame where you have to stare into the sun because we love him so very much. He brings us sunlight, he brings us warmth, and
honestly, I'm not that mad at Pluto because really, what did Pluto do? They took away our nights. It was pretty nice. Now we just get to stare at the sun some more and into his longing eyes. Oh, I love the sun. And like you like aren't allowed here and we like smoke weed and like we smoke crack and like we like watch the weekly like funny joke videos. Did you like know he posts weekly like every week and you can harass him if he doesn't? Like legally? Yeah, I did know that. I vimogam am an avid funny joke fan. But did you know that Skullcross actually posts every day? He posts one Minecraft video every day until he gets 1,000 subscribers. So you should probably subscribe to him too. Oh, that's cool. Did you know we have happy hour every day at 6? Every Wednesday at 6? Exactly at 6? Yeah, I did. You already told me that. You don't have any real new stuff. I have new stuff. Um, uh, John Morse got reelected. And he created like some crazy new laws too. He created this one law where basically anytime you use phones, you of course use Morse code. But now he invented this new code that's reverse Morse code, and you use that when talking over the phone. Of course, I being the representative of Earth, the Earth expert. That's me. I'm the Earth expert. I don't have to use it while I'm talking to you guys. But like any other time, I'd have to be using that. Oh, that's interesting, I guess. I don't really want to have to learn Morse and then learn reverse Morse. So, Venus, you got anything? Like, well, one, like you're not allowed here, and like two, we like always get like new commandments. So like our new like first amendment is the like right to write. The like second commandment is like the right to press buttons whenever we want. And like the third button or like what? Uh-huh. Like what was it? I like did a lot of crack. I'm like going to go in a hole. Huh, sis, yeah, you should really get off of crack and go to like the rehabs and you should like and you should go to the rehab center. Do you do you know what that is? Like you're so funny, brother. Um, you know what? I think this episode is kind of running on. So, I'm probably going to end it here, me Vimogam. I'm gonna end it here. I once again decide no one is uh I'm gonna go to no one, and actually I'm gonna announce a fun fact about me and the Planet podcast. I am actually the sun, and or no, I'm actually an alien, and I'm actually asking about these because I want to figure out which planet is the best to invade with my alien army. And then we're gonna kill all the inhabitants of the planet, and we're gonna take it over, and that's gonna be our new home. Cause I'm from a group of evil aliens, and that's how I can be like homeless. Anyways, we at the Vimogam podcast, we like to try and end these episodes by kind of talking about one good moral, or like one good, um, yeah, like one good moral of the day, you know? So, today's is when you see a rabbit and a tortoise racing, always bet on the tortoise.